Hey, welcome back to the Metropole Grid. My name is Andre.
And my name is Jeff.
And thanks so much for tuning in. We are back revisiting our tier list. This has been like what, Jeff, 5 months since the last time?
Yeah, I think just about.
It's been
longer. I don't know. It's
a wild year of Netrunner. So Elevation tier list. We're 1 week away. We posted our tier list. You can find the videos linked below. One side's on my channel, one side's on Jeff's channel. And since then, we've had a very structured, organized play season. We're just about a week and a half away from Worlds, probably a week away from Worlds when this thing drops. We've gone through 2 ban lists, and I would like to confidently say that nothing has changed. So all is good.
Yeah. There was no cards whose values change, and we got everything right from the last ban list. So I think this will probably be our first 15-minute tier list review. But no, I think it's been, I think we both were like, oh wait, we should watch these back. And I think I was watching mine at 3x speed, so I can't say I caught all the details, but I tried to catch some. And I think we got some stuff right. Yeah. And we'll let you all be the judge of how confident we are about different things. So
what we're going to do is we're basically just going to look through the 2 tier lists that we put together and have some talking points about what we think we got right, what we think we got wrong. And it's not so much about being right or being wrong, but more so about talking about what has changed and what context, because you can learn a lot about the game, about the competitive scene. There's a lot of interesting things going on, but also talk about like card evaluation, because it's one of my favorite things about any card game is talking about a new card, why you think it works, why you think it doesn't work. So there's a lot to talk about. We should always say, as we do at the beginning, that this is particularly exclusively for standard format competitive play. And there is, of course, the caveat that we don't think that's the most important or the only interesting way to play Netrunner, but it's the way that the both of us often interact with at Netrunner organized play. So it's what we know. So we will talk about it, and we will. Jeff, do you want to do a quick breakdown of these tiers? Because they're a bit unique.
Yeah, they sure are something, because I think we like to talk a lot and then didn't want to just make things a 1 through 5 or a 1 through 6 in this case. Mm-hmm. So we start at the top with Ban Me Please. These are cards that we think are just a level of power that's probably a little bit unhealthy for the game. It's not saying this card has to be banned, but it's that this card is going to warp formats where it is in.
I'm just going to say sometimes we put cards in Ban Me Please a bit jokingly. I don't think Madani here was exactly that, so we don't have to worry about that camp. But yeah, it is definitely a powerful card.
Yeah. Faction Staple is not always the most powerful card, but a card that you expect to see in most decks that like in that faction, and maybe even outside of that faction. Though it's possible for cards below it in the tier list to be stronger cards, but our expectation of Faction Staple is this is a staple. This is a thing you will see all the time when you're interacting with that faction and outside of it in Netrunner. Next up, we've got Archetype Enabler. These are cards that are not universally good in every deck, but they are so powerful that they enable them to be built around or create a strategy or like way of playing that is almost maybe not unique to them, but specifically enabled by them, which is like a very powerful thing in Netrunner. And there's not a ton on this version of the tier list, but I believe there's a few more on the other.
Yeah, this tier list was specifically weird. One, Archetype Enabler, it kind of shows you that Elevation was a bit of like a generalist set in many ways because of the rotation, but
yeah. Next up, we have the Archetype Role Players. So instead of being so strong that you can build around, you say, hey, if you're doing a certain type of play, these cards are often going to be things you include to make that a little bit better. And I think we'll talk about that quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Next up is Slots Are Hard. These are often cards, I think, the way we were talking about it is, if this card appeared in your hand in certain games, it can be really, really strong. But putting it in your deck can sometimes be very difficult because it's not quite strong enough in the average board state that you're encountering as either side.
You only have 45 cards or 49 cards on the corp side. This is often the 50th card, the 46th card that just ends up getting cut because it's not the most important. Sometimes they're the coolest cards in the game, but sometimes they make the cut.
Yeah, they're often the most fun cards to build around.
Oh yeah.
Only tied closely often with the last category, which we call the binder cards. These are cards that we don't expect, like they're not even the 45th they're not even the 46th or the 50th card. They are the 50th card for the runner, the 60th card for the corp. Like these are cards that we just don't think will be played in very serious competitive decks. They can be very fun cards, they can be very interesting cards, but we tend to think that they just don't actually do anything powerful enough to really be considered as standard pieces.
Yeah, this is our tier. We've been doing something like this for a long time now. There's a whole bunch of tiers if you want to watch them, or tier lists if you want to watch them. But this is the widest it's been. We have the most categories now for some very specific listing. And with that, this is what we did again 5 months ago after playing with the set for only about 9 days. It was like just about a week before any major tournaments. And this is where we ended up.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we did too bad, but to begin on that journey to come up with that actual maybe definition, do you want to start at the top and kind of walk our way down?
Yeah, so I think Madani is the one at the top here that stands out. It's the only card we put in Ban Me Please. I actually don't feel like we got this one too wrong. I think it so turned out that the meta that we're in Elevation made it not as powerful, but there was a period where like the meta was less solidified and this card was everywhere. And I also think depending on, one thing that's happened since we did that recording is that we've had the most recent ban list, the 25-10 ban list, which took away some of the major predators for the Madani deck. And so it's a card I could definitely see coming back with vengeance at Worlds, for example.
Hey, editor Andre here. Hopefully you're well. Just wanted to chime in really quickly. It looks like we ran into some technical issues with this recording. Unfortunately, Jeff's camera freezes every once in a while, and we ended up with this desync sometimes between the audio, the video, and then the conversation. I tried really hard to try and get things back on track, and I think I did a pretty good job, but you can totally watch this. It makes sense. It's not that hard to listen to. But if you notice that Jeff's camera freezes or things are slightly out of sync, I'm aware. It's the best I could do without spending dozens of hours on it. That's mostly it. Enjoy. If you want to leave a like on the video, that also helps too. But thanks so much. See you in the video. I think it's really funny they were opening with this because Madani saw exactly like very little success, I think very early in the set. And now we're kind of backpedaling to this. I think now, we are seeing Madani lists. As you said, I think I'm currently playing a Madani lat list I pulled from Tuno. It was playing at a tournament. I think it's one of the most fun Shaper lists I played in a long time. But yeah, I think with this card specifically, like just rubbed me wrong when it came out because it is incredibly complex in terms of like trying to figure out what board states, what the runner's capable of. And it's just, it feels a bit too much, but I don't think we've actually seen that to be the case, but perchance Worlds is that place.
Yeah, I guess I remember from the start of the season, like the very start of the season, like it was one of the decks was Madani, Whiteblade's published the Madani, and like that list was popular and did win or place highly at quite a few events early on the meta. The meta, I think, shifted in ways that made it less optimal than other versions for by the time we got to actually large events in the season. But like, I think the card is still like, just because the card is not the top of the meta right now, I don't know that actually makes to me says, oh, it needs to be out of the Ban Me Please category. In the same way that like Hollow Man right now has not been that relevant this competitive season, would still belongs in that Ban Me Please tier. Like I wouldn't go back and retroactively say, oh yeah, we were wrong. We were doing the Rebellion Without Rehearsal tier list because it's not currently strong. It's a strong effect, but not every strong effect can be strong simultaneously.
I find that to be so fascinating because when Hollow Man came out, it was like one of the biggest, like this is the most powerful card we've seen in such a long time. It's going to be a problem. It needs to be banned, all that sort of stuff. And right now you could forget it exists, which tells you more about like, there's other issues going on. Other things do or don't make sense, which is just like really interesting when it comes to this card game because Hollow Man is technically still very cracked. And I agree. I think this card will be a problem at some point, and I don't feel good removing it from here. But a lot of people actually might have forgotten that this card exists. I know I did for a month.
Yeah, I definitely did for a month as well. I'm looking at this faction staple, and there's like honestly only 2 cards that stand out to me here. And I'd have to go back and listen closely to be how we rank them exactly.
I'm guessing maintenance access.
Yeah, maintenance access. I think we were both much higher than this than the community sentiment, and it has slowly been disappearing out of decks.
It's another card I forgot exists. maybe it's worth something. So I know we talked highly about this because I know you do play testing. This was a very strong card at curbing the power of Nebula, which has definitely been a thing you had to deal with. Getting those incidental accesses, like I've been blown out by this card, specifically in smaller formats like Startup. Like that's very powerful effect to even attack on turn 1 or turn 2, get into HQ. I don't know. I think it's a slots issue. Maybe we'll see this card see more play. Maybe you just need to cheat out 1 or 2 more big accesses with a twinning against a LEO in the mid to late game. Like I'm not 100% sure. But this is very quickly, even in decks like Moosely Hot that are incentivized to play all the run events, this is not seeing any consistent play at all.
Yeah, to me, this like maybe we could move it all the way down. The slots are hard.
I think so.
I think it's still a pretty solid card, but I think that probably could be where it goes.
I think what it does is pretty powerful, but it doesn't seem like we need that effect super consistently. Like I also think if you want to cheat into HQ for an extra cheeky multi-access, you might be at a place that you play Esther Brado.
Yeah. Esther Brado, Alarm Clock. Like there's other options for you for sure. I said the other one that stands out to me is like Lilo.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
I think we both thought this card was playable, and like I could see a world where like, hey, a year from now we're like, wait, why were we not playing Lilo?
Yep.
But it seems like the community consensus has been no, don't bother, just play 3x Dr. Nuka.
Yes, I think the only deck
that way.
The only deck I saw that played this somewhat consistently is like the deep dive Sable decks that spend 15 influence on deep dives. And so it was wild. They could lie low and deep dive in the same turn. Like that was an issue. And while deep dive got banned out 2 months ago now at this point, this card doesn't see any play. Even as tech to play around false lead, there was like some idea you could do it. But I think this won't see consistent play until criminals can give themselves 2 tags enough. Or the meta gets super tag heavy to a place where buy up bans doesn't do it. But at the end of the day, like a lot of the decks that are oppoing you also are playing assets. And so buy up bans is just even a better tech card if that's something you need done.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that we should be playing this. 2 clicks to draw 4 is not the worst thing in criminal. I really don't think, especially if you have extra clicks with like
it's
Sable.
funny because it's like, that is basically what the first charge on Dr. Nuka is. And it's like, okay, well, I'm saving 2 influence to do that, right?
Not
and maybe
enough.
I'm triggering Mystic and stuff, but who knows?
Really strange. I do think its slots are hard, but I do think it is like a utility. Like it's so aggressively fair, it seems. Like I'm not sure. If we figure out a better way to spend influence in criminal that actually constrains your card draw, this could show up over Nuka, I think, relatively simply.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna do something like this.
Okay, I would put maintenance access above Lilo. I feel like I've seen more credible maintenance access usage than Lilo.
Really?
But you can also rearrange slots of hard at the end when we get down there.
Yeah, that's going to move around a fair bit, so I'm not too stressed about that.
Anything else you want to talk about in faction staple?
Not so much. I think open market is maybe the one. I still think it is a staple, but it's just such a quiet card that like people are not excited to talk about it. Like,
oh, I'm so I've been maybe I've still been playing too much Baz.
Yep.
But like this is I mean, when I'm playing Baz and Sable, this feels like an auto 3 of.
Yes.
I think there's and I'm usually
Sable decks playing too.
Draw it.
Yeah, I've seen some people
if they're playing 2. I think in part because the card synergizes with itself so well.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're seeing people play less or fewer class acts. So like there are some sort of the pieces that are challenged. I think we're away from Paladin Plemo. I think we're often seeing the other companions, which makes this even better in some ways because you don't have that sort of like install setup kind of gas.
Wait, okay. Now I need to find out who's doing well with these mythical not only 2 TCA Sable lists.
I think it's real. I'm pretty sure it's real.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look at this another time.
I like TCA. Like, let me be clear. I'll play 3 class acts, but I think I've seen people kind of.
I will just say, Rotom Appliance did just win the largest online event of this ban list. Probably one of the only online events of this ban list with 3 TCA, 3 open markets. So I'll make that my case and say Rotom can't steer me wrong. But
okay, can we take a second to just like get annoyed with Ritual once again?
Oh god.
It brings me such joy because it is like the faction staple we're so upset that's here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, please give us another actually good draw card, but you don't have it. Like it is just good enough that it earns its slot in many Shaper decks.
I'm not convinced that I should be playing this over Stone Ship in Lat because of the ability to manage your hand size versus like how flexible it is mid draw. Like, I don't even know if this is better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the answer is like usually you should be doing both because like it's hard to have too much card draw at the moment.
Yeah, especially if you're playing Madani,
But
like
yeah,
you can
it's
dump your hand. You want burst
yeah.
draw.
There's definitely version. I've definitely built plenty of Shaper decks that aren't playing Ritual, but then I think as the season's gone on and people get more refined, like Burst Draw 3 is good, even though it's only that first click, which is really, really painful
Yeah,
when you draw it. Like when you click one, draw this, it feels so bad to be like, okay,
cool.
next turn I get to do my good draw.
It's
And that
this
feels.
cards. It's like annoying. There's cards that don't spark joy, and then there's cards that spark anti joy, and this is definitely an anti joy card, but you still play it. Like, what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're at the point that Azimut could definitely slide back. I think transfer is also more important than we think it is in the modern meta, or that we thought it was in the modern
Yeah.
meta.
Transfer can definitely slide up.
Like
Moosely
I would
Hot can
do
probably
something like
slide up.
this.
I would probably put
Even this is
Muscahat
probably, yeah.
above. Yeah. I would also probably still swap the Azamat because I don't think there's a Shaper deck that doesn't play Azamat, and it was quite when people were trying to play Shaper, it was the only way that Azamat was how they stayed alive, right?
Yeah. Card's
So
very, very good. Yeah, I guess we should say, because this came
yeah.
up in the last tier list specifically, when we were talking about Moosely Hot, I know I was saying, like, I'm not sure that this is ever going to be better than Sable. And while the play rate doesn't seem to be the case, the win rate, like just numbers win rate, says that Moosely Hot is the best thing you could be doing in Criminal right now. I don't fully understand that
I
to date, but like that's
I
what the
also
numbers say.
I at some point I need to remember to like either do a stream or make a video about this because I think the better win rate. I think win rate is not necessarily the best metric, but I also think like Netrunner right now events are so small realistically that our data sets are so small to make me like vibes matter to
Yeah.
me along with the data, and I don't know that the data is strong enough for me right now to override my vibes that Sable is doing is the better version of Crim right now, even though there's some data points that suggest otherwise.
We've got to the point where we're dismissing data because of vibes, and I'm here for it. No, but I agree. For what it's worth, it's both Sable and Moosely Hot have won major events in the last couple months. Like they're both great. I don't think you can pick a wrong choice, but I do prefer Sable myself. Cool. Faction stable, that's good. Criminal got a lot of really strong stuff. Just average, like red Crim is still the Crim to be. I don't think we've seen that much challenge that. And then we've got some good Shaper cards, and Rising Tide is like technically playable. I don't, yeah. Architect of Enablers. We just got one little guy in it. It's a fun little guy. And I think I've been impressed or surprised to see where the little guy shows up. Because if I say Gourmand right now, I'm honestly thinking Seb decks, which is like not what I expected. They're playing it because of Audrey package.
Yeah.
They're playing it because Solidarity badge is super important. We haven't seen a lot of Lou. We haven't seen a lot of like mulch-like decks in the modern meta. I don't know if that's going to change. Losing Banhar also seems to be like a pretty big deal for Generalist Anarch across the field, and even Specialist Anarch. Actually, more even Specialist Anarch, if you ask me. But this little guy has been like around, but honestly, I don't even think at this point little guy is enabling an archetype. It is just a role player in a deck that's also playing Audrey.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's. I guess to me, if you removed Gourmand, I don't think that deck could exist, though. I think would be my argument.
You might be right about that, but I feel like there's so many cards like that. Like if you didn't have Solidarity badge, you just wouldn't play Gourmand.
Yeah, I mean that deck is an assembly of different enabling pieces, right?
Yeah.
But
so like I'm fine to leave the little guy here.
Yeah.
But it's just not been as important as Imp was in the prior meta, as much as this is like more of a kind of, I don't want to say tempo tool, but you know what I mean? Like this card is definitely a different spot than Imp, more than we might have thought of 5 months ago.
I mean, to me, it's very comparable to how we were just talking about Ritual versus Diesel, right? Like,
no, I like this guy. This guy's fun.
I would rather have the other one, but this one still does a purpose, right?
I feel like this one though is so like legally distinct enough in the way that it plays that I think of Imp, but I'm also give me my cheap guy.
This still sparks joy. And actually, I'm very excited to get a copy of the world's alt for Gourmand. That's a great. I'm looking forward to that piece. But
those look great too. Yeah. Okay, do you want to talk about some role players? We have 2 IDs here that are just kind of sore thumbs in sticking out here in the modern meta. And we were both fighting to kind of like flip the spot. I think you were team Baz, I was team Phoenix. I would like to say that Phoenix
Yeah.
suffered a horrible tragedy over the last couple of months and has now been rendered unplayable. So I at least have that to fall back on. But yeah, really quickly, Phoenix was fun-ish. Not my favorite sort of play style where if you don't draw your Banhar, it seems like the deck totally falls apart. Turns out Banhar got banned, and so the identity has disappeared. I don't see any reason at all. But I have full faith that NSG will
Mhm.
print something that makes Phoenix relevant. But unfortunately, the card that makes Phoenix make sense doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I think Baz is like, I think we agree that like Baz wasn't going to be was not going to be, you know, maybe I forget how I didn't listen as closely as I should have. I may have overhyped Baz a bit because I really
This
love
is
Baz
fun.
as a play pattern.
Yeah.
I think Baz suffered quite a bit from the meta being so asset and so kill heavy
Yep.
that like installing cards from your hand was just not that important because you needed them to survive damage kind of thing. And as that changes, I can still see Baz playing a role in a Crim in the future, even though it's probably not going to replace Sable or Muslehigh anytime soon.
I still haven't played an Az deck that feels that different. Sorry, a Baz deck that feels that different than an Az deck, where if one of them is good
Mm.
because the meta is kind to it, the other one wouldn't be equally good, if not one of them just be better than the other. Like, again, I'm going to make fun of the name, but they do seem so similar into the way that they interact with their run-based engine, with like trying to face check and cheaply break things with their hardware tools and stuff like that. That it just hasn't carved a niche that like opened up part of Netrunner that I don't think existed prior.
I want to give a very quick shout. I don't think the deck is well tuned, but there was a Baz deck of the week that I'm sure you played last
Yep.
week. And like to
Yep.
me, it's
And
like,
to, you know, yeah. So I just want to say, I played that deck list for a whole evening. I played against 3 iceless decks in a row. So like I had a great time.
yeah, like that's I mean, that's just kind of obnoxious. Like that's not like it's just obnoxious, right? And like I'm not saying like anyone was
Yeah.
trying to be rude to you. It's just like, yeah, this is why Baz has
No, it's just that
not been
happens.
storming the, you know, has been taking over the meta. But that list like does like to me, I'm like, oh, Window of Opportunity is an interesting card because it interacts with
Good card.
Baz differently than
Yeah.
Az and the rest of the criminal card pool. And so like, you know, I
Mhm.
think there's still neat things that Baz can do, but yeah, he's definitely not a power card from this set.
No, unfortunately not. Neither of these identities. In fact, I would say the majority of identities from this set aren't doing anything on the runner side.
I do want to shout out. I think we did underrate Daewee by a substantial
Yeah.
margin. So
Yeah.
maybe like, you know,
Okay, so hold on.
if we're talking about IDs that underperformed but are still like archetype role-ish, like to me, I'm not dropping Baz into the binder. I don't. I think Baz was fine where he was. Thank you very much. But I don't have the mouse, so I guess that's how we're doing this.
There's no way Baz was an archetype role player. There's not. Okay, you're right, but no, you're right. These tiers are not like necessarily like, you know, one's above the other because it is an archetype role play. I just don't think it's an archetype right now.
Sure, yeah. There's not much D-res there's not much meaningful econ denial that you can do, and like ice D-res kind of tools. Yeah.
Yeah. And Phoenix is just like unplayable. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you figure out something really weird. I don't see it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think even when Banhart was unbanned, we were seeing that people were like, oh, wait, I could just not be Phoenix and play a better ID and be in a good spot most of the time.
Yep. As it goes
so.
sometimes with Hoshiko. I do want to say when I saw this tier list, and maybe we're jumping gears a bit, like Daewee kind of fun. Well, sorry, no, Daewee kind of doing something. The most fun Netrunner that you can play. I think the thing that upset me most about our tier list is that I think it should have been this. That is more accurate.
Yeah.
This side happy. This side less happy.
I definitely have the sense that like, you know, it's like everyone always like designers always want to tweak things. I bet if there was a elevation version 2, they would just have the flips be the other way around. So you at least got a trigger early in the game.
Yeah. But like this is the good side. Hold on,
But,
I'll pull it up. This is the side that KK does something. Like knick-knack works. The other side makes me sad when I start my turn on it because it eats your knick-knack trigger. It's awful. This is the side you want to be on. Card draw is good when you just destroyed your board, right? Like I don't need the credit. Thank you.
Yeah.
But where do we put it? It's like definitely, I don't know.
I think you can make an argument that is a shaper run based archetype, right?
Ah.
Oh, I was going to say it was a role player in that archetype.
Yeah, no,
You
you're
need to be
right.
doing something
You're
already
right.
strong. She's not enough of a payoff on her own.
I think if you have to beat Shaper assets, like honestly, Lad and Maggie will be fine. But this is one of the coolest ways to do it. That is like it's good if it fires a lot. It's genuinely good text, but you need a specific
Yeah,
meta for that to be the thing where it's less work and better payoff than just play Lat or just play Maggie, which is unfortunate.
yeah, yeah.
Very
I'm
fun
also
though.
looking yeah, very fun. I don't think we got. I'm looking at the two other Shaper cards in this tier. I actually don't feel like we got them wrong. It's just like, oh, we were not in the meta where these were relevant. So like they're they didn't show up, but they're still role players in an archetype.
I just pulled drones up on
Um,
screen. I think this card is going to do work at Worlds.
mm,
I think you're going to see drone decks do something either like Girls Shaper or like Mercury Send
Girls
It. Like,
Mercury
yeah, this
or
card is
yeah,
actually kind of important for those decks. To the point where if this card didn't
yeah,
exist, those decks probably wouldn't exist.
yeah. I think that's true. Um,
I would do this.
okay. I don't know that I would, but I think that's fine. Um,
Are
yeah,
you,
and we should probably also Red
yeah.
Riders.
No,
Boy, this card
that's not good.
this looks very silly.
That's that
Right
doesn't look
now.
right. I thought the meta would be
Yeah,
slow enough that you could play this. I thought the fact that it had support for Topon and Topon and
and
Baz
Seb
and Seb would give you some
and
amount of
yeah,
value, but like two of those were not good horses to attach your cart to. So it's seeing no play whatsoever. I think Fermenter is just enough money, like way too much money,
yeah,
arguably, that you don't need slow economy like this in the game right now.
yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. I think Game Dragon's a cool card. I think there's a chance there's a meta
Yeah,
where it's really, really good. And we might be at the meta world. We honestly might be.
yeah. I could definitely see a world where if people are expecting a lot of LEO, Game Dragon's quite solid into LEO.
Yeah.
So definitely see
Cool.
that happen in place.
Let's fight about some slots. I think there's one card in here I want to
Oh.
start with because it is a card that we got a lot of
I
talking to
hate.
do. This is Nick Nack, KK O'Brien. Dog, this card's so fun. It's so good too. What do
I
you have?
hate this card, but I can't. I know it's a me problem. It is not the card's fault. It is a Jeff problem. So,
Why do you think
ugh, I this
I don't mean to rub anything in because like at the end of the day,
yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly don't care. Obviously no one does, but why do you think this is different from like, okay, so the whole history is that Aesop's Pawn Shop is a card that was so important for Shaper. We both liked it a lot and its play patterns were very different. They both had some upsides, but also some downsides comparatively. This card requires you to build, well, not that it didn't in Aesop's, you still want to build your deck around it, but this is like the best reason right now. In fact, the only reason that Shaper is running in standard. And there are some meta decks, in fact, a lot of meta
Yeah.
decks, unless things really slow down, where that is one of the best things you can do your Shaper deck is give you tempo while you're contesting assets and stuff that's easy to run. Which is why this card just feels so damn good. You're always planning your turn around it. You're making forward momentum. You're drawing through your deck. You're getting rid of all your like breakers that have limited uses, like Revolver, Propeller, Gauss, Euler. Like these are all my favorite Shaper breakers in the modern meta, and they just have a shelf life. Let alone obviously Muse, Coalescence, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all true. I think for me, I enjoyed the mini game sequencing of making sure I ended
Yeah.
my turn with the things I wanted to get rid of versus starting the first run of my turn with the thing I wanted to get rid of. That sequencing is just like I was really like I was quite good at that
Yep.
pattern with Aesop's. Some of my best tournament performances were that pattern Aesop's lists. That's maybe a little untrue, but it's approximately true. It feels true, which is the most important feeling
Yeah.
of truth, right? And Nick Nack has, I think to me, the fact that Nick Nack doesn't sell up, he just sells for cards. Nick Nack encourages this, and because it doesn't sell up, then you're encouraged to start playing like DZMZs and it's like Aesop's was like a 1-2 engine, and that was like enough to get the ball rolling. Whereas to me, Nick Nack feels like a 1-2-3, maybe 4
Maybe 4.
piece engine. And that to me is less exciting because it means it's more prescriptive when I should like knick-knack decks are more prescriptive than Aesop's decks.
100%.
And I also feel like the pay, and that makes me feel like I have less room as a deck builder, which is like a big thing that I loved about Aesop's was he'd let you be creative with your deck slots in a way that I don't feel like knick-knack feels very okay. I put knick-knack in my deck. Here's 20 cards that go in to go with him. And that's disappointing, I
Honestly,
think, for me.
all NSG has to do is change how charge works or change how power counter cards work. We lost an entire like cycle of shaper cards or like power counter cards that destroy themselves when they emptied. If they didn't, like this would feel so wider. Obviously, there's implications to that. But I agree. Like right now, it feels like if you're playing Knick-Knack, you're playing the subsection of cards, and that is the deck. But that is also, you know, a victim of the card pool being as small as it is. This is the smallest standard card pool we've
Yeah.
had in a decade.
Yeah. So the question, and I think I have to recuse myself from this one as being too emotionally compromised. Is this an enabler or a role player?
It's an enabler.
Okay.
I think it's an enabler. It has to be. Your deck is a knick-knack deck inherently. When you sit down and you say what your shaper deck is, the decks right now are playing 3 knick-knack and they're knick-knack decks. At least the good knick-knack decks. I think the knick-knack decks that are putting like 1
Yeah.
knick-knack in or 2, they're like, okay, you might as well play the other one, spec work. Is that what it's called? Yeah. This is like, oh yeah, you're playing Principia. You're a knick-knack deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that note,
Yeah.
I need to move the apple.
You think Principia needs to go up to role player?
Okay, so sort of. I've been playing a bit more Principia and I've been enjoying it. I'm not a 3x Principia believer right now, but the reason why Principia is feeling good enough is like, you know, a confluence of different things. It's like you're playing 2 propellers. So you're also a Rising Tide deck at the same time. So this becomes an econ piece and a Rising Tide piece. I'm playing a Madani list. So like click compression installing programs is not too precious. And then you can get to that like multiple program discount. And all of those reasons make this card feel like it's good enough that you can get, you know, enough fractors in the bin. It's not technically it's not as good as like Muse Coalescence, but it's also like okay enough.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely a role player. I haven't seen anyone break ice with this, and like I can't imagine an ice where this is the thing that you're reaching for many reasons.
Yeah.
But it is like if you are a knick-knack deck, you need enough things to knick-knack. That's just how it is, and this one's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's totally fair.
Let me slide it somewhere like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we feel about Sun Control is like seeing no play. Do you play because it breaks VSA well? I don't think you do. I think you just like early game, get down your shibboleth, you call it a day.
I still think San Casil is underplayed right now.
I could see
I
it.
think I think I could especially like I know Dolls Muslahat is like the thing. I still think San Casil like is a totally fair option. And like I think slots are hard is the right place for it because it is difficult to slot. But I think it is like I wouldn't ever say it belongs to the binder, but it's probably not quite a role player in an archetype. Just based on the fact that it hasn't showed up in the deck that would most naturally go in.
Yeah, I think like Dolls is a thing. Hey, time capsule. It's weird 2025. People are playing Dolls competitively, and it's just like Corroder AI is good enough. There are downsides to it, except sometimes they're very quiet and you can't observe them too well. But they just can't run that much. Man, what a weird year we're in. What do you do about it?
It's a weird meta for sure. I don't think it's a bad one. It's just a very unusual one.
Yeah, very, very weird. Neutral AI meta. We've never seen that in all of Netrunner's history.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about Bling, man? Well, that was a card I hope that by now somebody would have shown up with something cool.
I mean, so I do what I was listening to. Yeah, I remember we were hearing us talk about Bling, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool. We said like, oh, it could be an archetype enabler in the future, and we will only put it in Sultan Hard with the understanding that it's like, well, we haven't had any new cards, and that was the big thing we felt like Bling needed. We also probably should shout out that a all Bling team won Crown of Servers at Montreal Continentals.
You could have given that team any console; they would have been fine.
Yeah, those were 3 very, very good players. You know, it was Bling and Shaper, Anarch, and Criminal, and like, yeah, probably they won basically without a console, but like that's still an accomplishment. No, I'm sure it fired a couple of times.
If you haven't played Bling Set, it's like genuinely very, very fun. It's not no console, but it's it's cool. It's a cool card for sure. But it doesn't seem like it's consistently making any deck to the point where like, oh, you know of a Bling deck in the modern meta.
Yeah, but I in our own defense, we did say you're going to need more cards for a Blink
Yeah.
deck to exist than currently
Yeah.
exists. So
It will be cool one day.
yeah.
Everything else seems kind of okay. Man, Rotom
Yeah.
Appliance keeps putting Side Hustle in decks. And I keep being
No,
he hasn't in a
Side
while,
Hustle.
but like he kept doing it in early meta, and I'm like, man, I respect Rotom a lot, but like I kept trying the deck and hating the card. And so like
Yeah.
I don't know how he's
Side
doing
Hustle
it.
is definitely one of those, like Side Hustle, it won the UK Mega City, I think. And I played that, or no, I
For
didn't win, but it
real.
was like the highest placing Baz deck had it. And I then took that deck, and every single time I drew Side Hustle, I was like, why is this in the deck? I think I fired it once and had it trashed on me like 4 times with 5 credits on it. It was real sad.
It's the sort of card that like you can convince yourself is the secret piece to this deck that doesn't work. That you just need like one bigger reason to run, right? Like maybe a knick-knack deck or something like that, right? Like you're playing open market and Shaper.
Exactly. I'm playing open market and bad, so it comes down for no cost, and like, but it's still like you can do better things with a card slot still than Side Hustle. And then 5 runs is actually a lot of turns. Like that is almost always at least 3 turns right now, and probably 4 in many cases.
I've seen people run archives to fire it. I'm like, okay, I guess you can do that.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Binder, we've moved some stuff down there. Chromatophore seems like it's just seeing less play consistently than Palangi. So that's, I think, exactly what we called out. Brand Sophia Ward is not worth its salt. And then Shred and Detente are easily some of the worst cards that have been printed in a bit.
Yep. And I think, we put Cacophony in the binder. I'm sure there are definitely Cacophony stands out there, but I don't feel like it has manifested in anything that I felt like was just resembling a real deck at the moment. So I don't mind having it in here rather than Slots Are Hard.
There was one deck that won a major event that had Cacophony in as a 1-of. But otherwise, it's not shown up anywhere. Besides the Captain Putma enjoyers who get that thing trashed when they float a tag or something. Also, it's a virtual.
Yeah.
God, I hate the ScapeNet meta we're in right now, but that's another problem. Cool. Not too bad. I don't think we did too bad on this at all. And like the runner side was very weird. And by weird, I mean not weird. Like there's a lot of very straightforward cards in this set. It's like strange because we talk about in context that corporations lost a lot of fundamental ideas in rotation, but this is meant to be the second set that you buy after Elevation. So like, look at all the criminal cards. They're generally no frills. Look at the Shaper cards, relatively frillless as well. And our cards, maybe a bit weirder, but it's like not a lot of enablers and weird stuff. It's just like straightforward stuff. And then you could argue 46 card syndrome. So no, it's cool. Runner side makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
You want to go to the weird side?
Yeah, let's hit the weird side.
Oh, we got to zoom out. Oh, we're so small now. Okay, wait. So I need to move our cameras. So for context, sorry if you're watching this, underneath Jeff's chest is Plutus Nano Management. I'm hoping cards will move around so that they won't be stuck there forever.
I think they will.
Yeah. So you want to start at the top?
Yeah. I mean, I think we got the IDs and ban me, please, right?
Nailed it. I listened to today and I specifically said like Alco probably won't get banned, but more so that it's going to lead to a ban. There's no way this is not going to lead to a ban. And it happened. Sting got banned. Still Alco, incredibly well represented, incredibly high win rate, still one of the highest win rates in standard in the one tournament we've seen so far. And this could be AUCO's time to win worlds as much as people kind of see it coming. So they're a bit more prepared.
I am going to pat myself on the back for saying I do think it has some of the play pattern where against very good players, the deck is like more fragile than it appears. And like that, like there, I listening back, I'm going to say you were
I was
very
a doomer, man.
Sky is falling. Yeah, you're a doomer, Alco. And like I think that the fact the Sting ban, while I think it is both
important,
quite significant, but also pretty small for how scared we were, or I'm going to say you were at the time that this card we were talking about this list.
So, right? Okay. Yeah. I do think the thing that I was saying is that like, I do think AUCO is going to do casual Netrunner damage. And I think it did. I think we were at the point where if someone comes to your locals and they say, here's my AUCO deck, a lot of people would be like, I'm good. Thanks. I don't want to play against that, which is like always a concern with any ban list. I also think we got better. I think you mentioned that like maybe at the end of the day, we're not playing enough card draw. It's a new set. So you're playing all the cute cards. Like we're playing our maintenance axes and like our mag electrics, right? Like those get cut just so you can play more card draw. And then we started playing 2x, 3x pinhole, and things got a bit easier from there. I want to say Ayuko has delivered some of the most interesting Netrunner games I have played on this side of the year. So thank you for that. It's kind of cool,
Yeah.
but I just hope that one day it's at a power level that we all feel okay with, because it is fascinating. Very surprising also, this is the only Jinteki ID that cares about damage in the modern format, which like, that was a weird revelation.
I mean, I think historically, PE ate up so much of that space that like you had PE and PU, and then every other Jinteki ID, I don't think referenced damage.
We had Chronos for a bit.
Okay.
We had the brewery. It's more than you think.
I feel like that's the end of the list, though, and then it's like
that's a lot. That's Polana, 4 IDs.
But you have Polana, you have RP, you have like Saraswati, like Ag, like
Saraswati was a damage ID. Let's be honest.
But it doesn't say damage. I don't know. To me, I know. Anyway, I know. We don't have to get sidetracked on this too much, but yeah.
It is. I was definitely more doomer about it, and I struggled, and things got better. We were at a point though, like where the tech was like, I want to say hilariously targeted. Like we were going to events where people are running 3 air blades, 3 steelskin scarrings in their criminal lists at top cuts. Like it got out of hand. Let's be honest. Like people prepared for it.
They needed to, but people decided to do that. Right. Yeah.
It helps. Like I get it. But this had a bigger impact on the meta than anything else over the last couple of months. And I'm interested to see how that lines up.
Yeah. And then Nebula, I think we complained about it a lot, and despite it, it didn't put up that big of a performance. But I think basically the consensus was just like the play pattern of this deck is just not fun, and it got touch ups. It got touch ups banned, and I imagine it will see more. Like it is an idea that at some point will get banned itself, or just lead to a long string of bans.
If NBN had more playable identities, this should have got banned, if you ask me. I think this is always going to be unhealthy. I don't like it. We also messed up where, like, again, we should have done this. This is like so much more reasonable. But like, I don't know, man. I'm never going to like this. It's always going to be a problem. It's always going to tilt me. It never makes fun games. I don't get it. But we'll see. It was definitely targeted, and I don't expect to see much of it at Worlds.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Staple. I think the only thing we have to talk about is some agendas here, huh?
Yeah. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about Anthill. I think we were both like, oh, you can put Anthill everywhere. And it's like, no, in practice, you can only put it in Ob. But that might be a little bit of a casualty of Alco requiring everyone to be on 3x pinhole. So like you could never fire this.
Yes, that does hurt. But I think this was a 3 of in every Wayland deck. I do think people did splash it.
Yeah.
It's not the worst.
Yeah,
but this is easily like the best Wayland card on the set.
Yes, definitely.
Actually, maybe not.
Yeah, I actually think we should shout out Measured Response here.
Yeah, this is the one
as a card that
that can come up. Wasn't able to finish our conversation to see what we said about this. I think we thought that it was way too hard to scrounge together multiple copies of Measured Response and multiple ways that the runner could not have to not die. That this would be a bit more grindy, or that this would be a bit more like circumstantial. This wouldn't feel like what's it called?
We called it we felt it was going to be. We called it a bit more of a snare like card, where it was going to be kind of a cheese. Oops, you die kind of card. Yeah, we specifically mentioned snare when talking about this card. And then I think we said like, oh well, maybe we'll be in a fortunate world where we end up where you get that kind of super modernism style where this is kind of the tempo backup plan. And I think to the card's credit, like it was easier to get multiple copies of this in hand. Like runners were not trashing this out of hand consistently in time. And I mean, some of that also has to do with the Basalt Spire, of course. But yeah, this card I think really overperformed.
Yep.
But and in a way that was interesting. Like it wasn't just like, oh, this card was stronger than we thought, and all of our fears about this play patterns bore out. It was this card was stronger than we thought, and it made for interesting games of Netrunner. At least in my experience.
I think if this card didn't exist, Wayland would not have existed at all in the last meta. Like it's single-handedly giving an alternate win condition, which is not very card intensive and not very like like I mean this with no shade, like thought intensive. Like it's just a thing that's going on in the background, and if it fires, it fires. Does a lot, and the fact that it is a card. Because normally when we see these kill cards, we think it's going to be something about modernism, right? Like you have to have a package, you have to go fast, the runner has to struggle to keep up. But like genuinely, some of the first decks that were doing well were just like mid-range Glacier that said, okay, it's cool, you can get through my logjam, but can you get through my logjam, steal a Basalt Spire, and not die to double measured? And the answer for most runners, because their economy was like very much challenged in the last rotation and ban list, the answer was no half the time, which made this card feel more plodding. Like I've also seen a lot of grinder kind of measured response gameplay, which I don't think I loved, but this played out in a very different way as opposed to like what we expected. Like it's not Argus. It's more so like I don't even know what to compare it to, but it didn't feel Argus. It felt more like shit. Like I got nothing. It's measured response.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It despite hitting so many familiar chords, it's a pretty new card, I feel like.
And it's
cool.
Single-handedly keeping Wayland relevant, as much as like maybe Wayland at Worlds won't be a thing. Maybe we'll see some cool surprise stuff, but it is, I think, very important.
Yeah.
Do we have to defend Flyswatter? Flyswatter's still up.
No, history has vindicated us on Flyswatter. Maybe we went a little high saying it should be a 2 of in every deck. It's like a 1 of in every deck right now. But maybe we're just seeing the progression of history. And by the time Flyswatter rotates, it will have been a 3 of for years, But
it was also so good right when it came out. It's like slightly calmed down now because there's less rigs that are depending on like what's it called, Audrey and Botches,
Audrey and Fermenter,
so it's still good,
but it's like if we get more of a Shaper meta, I actually think Flyswatter is like a great card to have into Shapers because you make them run early, you purge their Fermenter, and like that is a lot of Shaper econ in the current setup. So
I do want to shout out, very similarly looking, but White Space is seeing the most plays ever has, and it is kind of a messed up card right now. And it is challenging some of the Flyswatter slots if you just needed like a end to run code gate thing. But that's usually a different type of list.
Yeah, it's like they're competing for that slot, but I don't think that's like Flyswatter is bad. It's just like different lists have different needs. And we're seeing and some decks are playing one and some decks are playing the other, and a couple crazy decks are playing one of each or something like that. Like I've definitely seen that. Or maybe not one of each, but a mix. Yeah, so it's a good card.
I think the other things to mention off the books was cool for a bit. I don't think you actually see it in that many Wayland decks. Like Nuven played it for a bit. I think you don't really see it as a 3-2 or a 4-2 in like op decks. Zwicky isn't real, which is like kind of a big surprise. And I don't think I even saw people experiment with Zwicky. I feel like Zwicky was kind of dead on arrival, and I don't fully understand why. I was having a good time with it. But yeah, it's like not the Wayland having a functional blank 3-2 doesn't seem to be relevant in the meta at all.
Yeah, and it's a little bit hard to tell because Ob is in the faction, and like off the books is so much worse for Ob than Ozef. Like I thought this was going to be reasonable in Ob, and it's like nope, Ozef just does the thing you need, and another 3-2 is like it's actually difficult to find the slot where you get the value out of this off the books over other things. And I do think the step down of only being able to tutor at end of turn and functionally really get value for an installable, I think it ended up being much bigger hits than maybe it's rated here.
That ability is the Dividends ability is better than it sounded on first read. Like that is good text for sure. But yeah, there's not a lot of decks that want to do this right now. But you'll definitely see play in the future for sure. Once Wayland is doing like mid range, whatever. And like Ingaten's in the same camp. What's really funny is we talked about how Ingatan might see no play if they unban Luminal. And I honestly am pretty sure, but if Rotom Appliance...
It saw no play even before they unbanned Luminal.
It not only saw no play before, but like I'm pretty sure we're exactly back at the same spot where I think when Rotom Appliance won Worlds in 2021, it was a PD deck that was running like one HB agenda in it. And we're back to it where Rotom Appliance just won Showdown with an HB deck with one HB agenda in it. Everything else is neutral. Like we're coming full circle again, which just like HB agendas, what the heck is going on? Like they're just not seeing consistent play anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they keep printing really bad agendas. And like to me, I want to take this one all the way to slots are hard. I think it's really bad. Like the having like even when you over advance this card, it feels bad.
Yep.
Which is
That text could have been on a
just rough.
3-2. I think that text could have been a 3-2, and I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, just give it the dividends 1 text and call it a day.
Just give it dividends 1 and on the 3-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's one of the it's like, the one of the things that and like in a video that hopefully will come out soon, but no promises. Sam and I were talking a lot about agendas, and like one of the things that agendas have to do is if the runner could just go, okay, so what? You don't have 7 points yet.
Yeah.
Like the agenda kind of isn't good enough. And Project Ingatan really has that so what, even when you score it as a 4-2, which is I think kind of a death knell for it.
I think that's a really good way of thinking about it, because I know I've heard Sam talking about agendas being the bad cards in your deck for a while now. And I think that's a really good point. Yeah. If you can say corporation, you can score it, I don't care, that's probably a bad sign. And like, if we're talking about some of the other, I would say Wayland agendas, like scoring an SDS, scoring a Basalt Spire, like those are game changing to the point where you can't actually just sit there and let that happen. I don't care. It's 2 points. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Wild. I guess it's worth shouting Doomscroll shows up nowhere, but the faction is kind of dead.
Yeah. Doomscroll is like not relevant in Nebula, and so it hasn't really shown up. But I think Doomscroll is a totally fine card, and we'll see it as when NPN becomes a functional faction.
Yeah, this card's really good. Numbers on it are just very, 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 very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Enablers. FUT. It's very good.
Yeah. Very good.
Then we have a couple agendas that should get knocked pretty far down. Actually, a lot of this row gets messed up pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I basically the corpse side, we're just going to start pushing a lot of things down, I think.
Let's just go out of the way. Okay, hold on. I need to pull these cards up, so I'll have to stall a bit. But embedded reporting was a 3-2 we thought was valuable because Nebula was scoring it out. We quickly transitioned to Nebulas who don't want to fast advance out to 7 points, let alone, they're just not playing this. They're trying to kill you and do other stuff. So this did not see any consistent play.
Hard,
it's a blank 3-2. Proprietary negation, I still would leave there because it is an enabler.
Yeah.
That deck doesn't exist, but I do think, and I think I said this on the video, is like if you're going to have scoring in a remote server, well, that's not true, actually. We're seeing like RH Glacier that's playing only 3-pointers.
Right, but I think that's actually an artifact of RH Glacier being strong being 18, rather than, because you can play to 18 there, and that's just better. If we had an Ag Infusion style ID, I think they would be considering at least appropriate negation. Because like Ag Infusions, like, yes, they danced on and off of Project Nisei Mark IIs, and appropriate negation does a pretty good approximation of Nisei Mark II.
Close enough.
So I think it's fine to be in an enabler category because it does enable certain agenda suites. They're just not particularly powerful at the moment.
Yo, this is my like pride of this tier list. I was on record saying that I think LEO construction is going to see more success than PD, which at the time I thought was a pretty wild sentence. And we're exactly at the point where LEO is like the thing that you need to have a game plan against going to Worlds.
Yeah. LEO seems to be the best deck going into Worlds on the corp side. And like PD is not even that close to it, I think.
No, besides like core damage PD and like weird combo PDs, but like the PD, probably the archetypal PD. We've seen some people do okay with it at like Showdown. Like it existed, but it's definitely not the PD it was like a year ago where like 1 in 4 games was a PD game.
Yeah.
This is
I think
good.
Mercia is that's definitely good. I think Mercia has proven like, I would probably slide appropriate negation down below Mercia as well. Like she has been, it's definitely like there was a high where I was like, I want to put her in every deck. And it's like, I still wish I could put her in every deck, but she doesn't actually belong in every deck.
Re-listening to the old video, like we have ideas like, Mavirus for Mercia and Ob. And it's like, I never did that and I still want to do it. I'm like pretty convinced we shouted out 1 or 2 things that you're going to see at Worlds this year because they're the ideas that weren't worth doing now, or sorry, back then that are maybe worth revisiting now. Mercia's not my cold shot, but you know what I mean? Like, anyways. When you talk for 3 hours, sometimes you say something smart is all I'm saying.
Sometimes well, by sheer volume, right? We're bound to have said some things right about Worlds.
Trend setting also showing up probably only in Thule decks. We'll talk about what's it called, poetry, when we talk about poetry. Technically it's an enabler. I think the deck like really needs this, but maybe it's not because again, I think every time that the corporation has scored this, they've lost the game.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can move this to role player or even slots are hard because it's a 3-1 that's so difficult to get value out of.
It's really bad. They score it. I don't care. You scored a 3-1. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we have Zwicky, which like, again, why? No, it's like you have a filter when you know how you can go open up your web browser and you can have a filter where you just hide certain words. Like there's just no conversation about Zwicky online. Why? It's not that bad. Do people not like drawing cards?
I guess they don't like drawing cards. They want to tutor them out of their deck or trash them off the top of their deck.
It's not that bad. Like this has the amount of same conversations like GameNet or like Hyobu. More people say Hyobu on a day-to-day basis than they say Zwicky, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think it's true. Like maybe we should just stick to our guns and say Zwicky will enable that kind of Titany archetype. It's just not there right now for whatever reason.
It's not gonna do it. It's no, I don't believe in it. I don't. I don't think it is an enabler. Like I think you can do fast events Wayland in like op probably a bit more consistently, but it's like
yeah.
I don't know, like into the role player soup you go, my friend.
It's all right. We get to knock some role players down, though I'm not sure if we'll be able to knock enough of them down to really change that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have to fix this role player issue. We are still covering, well, at this point, it's spread to peer review, PTUNTN, and poetry. We'll probably move those. But like this one's a hard one to put in our list. It's Petty Cash. Card is one of the more important cards in the set for a lot of different reasons.
Just move that up to faction staple.
Yeah, I think it's a neutral faction staple.
Feel like yeah, you're right. It is a neutral faction staple. Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. It is a card you should consider when building most decks. And for some, it's that important as a part of your game plan. It is just that good.
Yeah.
I was confused how much I didn't like Scatterfield. Because like clearly it's one of the best ice. And then when I was talking about it, I'm like, it never fires.
Yeah, we were like dunking on this card. I'm like, listening back, I'm like, wait, but why are we like this is a 3/4 with an end to run code gate? Like, why are we dunking on this? And like,
so the reason was I was playing a bad poetry deck and Banhar made this never have text. Like this only got Banhar, it only got Botulus. No one paid credits to break this. And I was frustrated.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. It was really bad in a Banhar Botulus meta. And also we both wanted to make poetry happen, and poetry determined through its own text it could not happen.
I do want to say that this card is overperforming. Like you're seeing it splashed in Shinteki. I think you'll see it splashed in NBN. I think you probably won't see it splashed in Wayland, but like it is showing up everywhere because for the strength, for the subroutines, for how flexible it is, assets being as good as they are, for 2 influence, this is a deal.
Yeah, and a lot of corps don't want to make that many heavily ice servers.
No,
and this is just a great. This hits so many different good slots. So
it's not an archetype. No, it kind of is.
Yeah, you're right. It does it like enables certain wide archetypes. I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
you need a piece of ice like this. It's not tour guide, and tour guide would have been an enabler, but it's like tour guide-esque.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the next one, I
haven't played this card.
Like we haven't seen this card. I think the reason basically is it's trying to be Tranquility Home Grid, but it doesn't do it as well. And so I think that's basically the problem with this card. So to me, it's a slots are hard / binder card. Because
but I'm imagining like isn't the idea that we should see this in other places? Like I agree, HB makes sense. You have campaigns and stuff, but I'm so surprised we're not seeing this consistently in like Alco. We're not seeing it consistently in even NBN like Epiphany, right? Like if your game plan is loose to pinhole,
because this card doesn't do quite enough, and so its slots are hard, right? It is worse than it is the 50th card consistently throughout the entire year, right?
It's so easy to convince yourself it's good, right? Like pinhole, trash a fuck for 5. Then you have to trash this. I can derez my pings for free infinitely with my working prototype. Like there's so many weird angles where it seems reasonable, but it just like your deck has to do other things. It seems.
I mean, I think the challenge is you need to be just like with Tranquility Home Grid, you need to be installing in the same remote over and over and over again to really get value out of this. But that is like it doesn't seem like that should be a unique HB thing, but that's kind of ended up being a somewhat HB unique play pattern. Like the Alco list is like, I'm gonna put one thing behind this ice and then keep going out wide, or Ob does a lot of the
Yeah.
same thing. And the like, oh, I'm gonna stack a bunch of upgrades is like the other way that people play with remotes, and this doesn't interact well with upgrades. So it just kind of never hit the mark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Seems like it should be good. There's a lot of text on it too.
Yeah.
Top-down solutions, man. This card will one day be broken.
Yeah. I don't think this needs to change. I think I think it and KPR are actually in pretty reasonable spots. KPR is probably gonna slide down a little bit, but like they're both archetype role players. So
KPI is good. Okay. Sorry. Okay. 5-minute timestamp to talk about Mitra. No, but for real, do you know what happened the other day? There's a card on a remote server. It's a res fly swatter. Okay. I got my dolls. I'm running it. The corporation's on 1 credit. I just trashed their ice. I did what's it called? That thing where you run archives and then you do the little kiss hug and then you trash the other Hagen on the
oh, a
table.
charm offensive.
Charm offensive to Hagen as a dolls deck. Feeling good. Run the fly swatter. It's a Mitra. It becomes a Hagen. I lose the game on the spot. Why? Why did it have to happen to me? We could have forgotten about this card. Like, who's going to be giving people Stavkas at Worlds? It's going to be some percentage of people that their game plan is to give people Stavkas at Worlds. And I'm serious. Like, that's a good game plan in modern meta.
I think it is a solid game plan. And this card, like being +3 credits, like this card saw play as like a, hey, I can play this as Ob, search for it face up, and it's still good enough. And it also has this trap angle. Like this card's quite good. I think, there was some discussion, especially contemporaneously, that like this was going to break the game. And I think there is a world where this card does break the game in the future, but it hasn't quite yet.
No, it hasn't yet. But like, it is just the most feels bad. I forget who's saying this, but it is the funniest thing. Anytime that Mitra is in my deck, I'm like, it's underperforming. And anytime that you get blown out by a Mitra because your opponent's playing it, you're like, oh crap, I lost the game. Like it's one of two extremes. I don't know why I'm on the wrong side of the fence.
It's the my deck Mitra, opponent's deck Mitra, or
God, it's disgusting. I hate this thing. It's good. And I don't mean it like we have to ban it good. It's just like, it is a messed up card. It does a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a meme world where I would put it in ban me, please. But it's just not that power level at the moment.
Yeah. I was upset enough about it when it came out that if I put in ban me, please, people would think I'm being genuine because I was. At this point, it's more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we have to slide some stuff up, but I think we're going to move other things around. Before we get to the important one, BOAC, I felt like I haven't seen this guy in a while.
Yeah, but I think that's basically because Wayland, like, so BOAC was seen for a while. Like, there was those versions of like Eminent Domain, Rush, Wayland decks.
Yeah,
like,
Eminent Domain's also
quite solid. Yeah, but I think it's just like, that deck had such a bad criminal matchup that it kind of disappeared, and so that's why we're not seeing BioWalk right now. But that could change in the future, and I don't feel like that changes the role of BioWalk.
No, card's proper good. It is a good card. But yeah, we've seen very little green mail. We've seen very little BioWalk. We've seen very little Eminent recently. It was a good sentry to have in your deck that lacked sentries, specifically if you're playing like New Vang. It's good. It's a good card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about touch-ups. That's the next one down the list.
Yeah, and like, okay, this seems like I'm retconning this. I think I should have been harsher about this card. Because when we talked about it, I was like a bit cautious. I'm like, this card is inherently going to be pretty messed up. It got banned for those who are watching who didn't follow the history. But this card got banned because it was a way to specifically address Nebula. This card does everything. It like neuters kill lines. It makes single tag punishment lethal. It's like, it's a messed up card. It does a lot.
Yeah. I think actually like, it got banned to reduce the power of Nebula. Like that was just Nebula happened to be the best place to do this low interactive touch-ups kill combo. But if Nebula wasn't existed, I actually think touch-ups would still be problematic.
Oh yeah.
Because we were, Sam went on the ShadowNet and railed about losing on a turn 2, tomorrow's headline touch-ups, end of the line. Like that was, there's people have explored and almost like ran some like touch-ups kill Alco. Like the deck enables kill in a way that I think is like is too good and unprecedented. And like, even though Nebula is the reason it got banned, I think it would still have been banned if Nebula wasn't printed. So like, yeah, I downplayed how obnoxious this card was. And I think, it definitely deserves a ban me please, I think, in retrospect. And not even just because it got banned, but because the card is
Yeah.
on its own doing not
It's like
like things that are not good.
I'm trying to understand what the rules of what Netrunner should be like in current NSG world. And like NSG seems to be comfortable with the idea of if a card survives on the table and the corporation has like 1 to 2 card combo, you're dead on the spot, right? Like the 7 point agenda, as much as the runner can have tech. And so like trying to understand exactly where like the see how they run meta we are in, the neurospike meta we're in. That's always been very contentious. Some people hate that Netrunner, some people love it. I don't like see how they run. Like I don't like that. Oh, you didn't run, you're dead. Which like maybe the fact that we just talked about, oh, if they score the agenda, I don't care. That's a problem for the agenda. But this is like the other extreme of it, and it sits really well. Sits really poorly with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to defend either touch up to see how they run. I think they're both bad designs for Netrunner. And
Mhm.
I was wrong on the power level of touch ups for sure. But I don't think I don't think I ever tried to defend it as good Netrunner design. I hope at least.
Okay.
Uh,
Sericulture, it's a 3/2. It doesn't have text on it. I'm just gonna move that further down.
yeah,
We can
yeah,
put all the 3/2s together where they belong.
yeah.
All right. Next, we have Public Access Plaza. This card is seeing more play modernly. Like NBN assets feel like they're kind of back. They're a deck you need to know about
Hmm.
going into Worlds, let alone like even AU codecs are playing 1 or 2 influence on this thing, especially the ones that care
Yeah,
about tags. Card's fine.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think this. I mean, this is an easy card to get right, but I think it is a role player, and it's good enough to not really end up in slots or hard. It won't be in every asset deck forever. It's not the highest power level asset you can have, but it's a really really relevant piece. So
Yeah. Fun design too. I don't like drawing it on turn 1 because your opponent always trashes it for 2. So like maybe I don't res it, maybe I don't install it. That's the cool thing to learn about the
mm,
card. It's like so easy to
yeah,
trash on turn 1. That's always worth it. And then you have to wait till the threat. Okay.
yeah,
I'm
sure.
actually going to start here with PT and Tian, which like
Yeah,
I do think PT and Tian and then a bunch of other cards are associated with it, like peer review. This identity saw no play, like literally
yeah,
0 play. Why is that? I
yeah.
think structurally you are getting a lot of centrals pressure. It's really hard for you to defend everything. It's really
Mhm.
hard for you to play on few cards in hand and not flood up. There's just like so many problems that cascade on top of themselves that it's hard to play PT and Tian in the current meta.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think PT and it's a little bit hard for me to say like is PT and 10 like fundamentally bad or just not good right now. I'd lean a little bit more towards it's probably just fundamentally bad.
Fundamentally bad. Yeah.
And yeah,
It's
yeah.
I know we mentioned this before, and again, I don't know if this is by design, but like PTN Tien, also like the next card poetry, they seem like they could do something, but they also have such bad lose cases where they collapse in on themselves. Like in PTN Tien, if you
Yeah.
draw 2 agendas, like you can't get them both out of your hand. So sometimes your ability doesn't fire because you can't get enough cards out of your hand because you're flooded, and you can't fix your hand because you're flooded, so you don't do anything, and then you snowball backwards. Like it feels so bad when it doesn't work, and it's not up to you if it doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you just draw
Yeah.
bad and you have no text, which like is very
Yeah.
unique for an identity.
Yeah. So like to me, PT and 10 goes in the binder.
Yep.
Um
We'll see it one day. Maybe. Actually, I don't even
yeah,
know. I
maybe.
think that
I'm
might
not
not
I don't I actually think we're
honestly.
more likely to see Synapse than P2 and 10.
Yeah.
I think Synapse like has a potential role, but we can get to there later.
Yeah, I'll just do it right now.
Um, yeah,
On
I
that
think
note,
yeah,
yeah, go
peer
ahead.
review to me is probably slots are hard. Like it
Mhm.
hasn't found a place yet, but I could see it. At some point we get a more tempo-y, Jinteki, and it's just good enough. Rather than like a role players, we kind of had it.
Yeah. The transaction synergy on this is not alive and well in the meta. It's not really a thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Actually, so yeah, no, I think we can move it to slots are hard. I definitely remember seeing some. I think. Oh yeah, I think there was someone who was doing a Plutus
Mhm.
out of Alco
Ooh,
combo, and peer review was part of how they fast advanced because you could
cool.
Plutus the peer review to install an agenda and then advance it out. So
I guess we can talk
there's
about
neat things you can do, but
yeah.
yeah,
I guess we can talk about Plutus. The really awkward thing about Plutus is that like if you're gonna Plutus the peer review, you have to have the agenda in hand, and then you have to reveal the rest of the hand. Like it's one of the Plutus enablers that is I feel like the one I like the least when I was playing it in Wayland. It was
yeah,
just slightly
for
too
sure.
clumsy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Plutus, this is Plutus. It was like I think my favorite card in the set. I haven't played it in months. Not 100% sure why. It is a card that I could see actually out of faction abstractly, but like the sort of tempo transaction way HB is not a thing. And obviously people don't seem to be playing Zwicky. And there's a chance even in Zwicky it wasn't the thing to do. This was really cool in Nuvang where you can control the top of your deck because you can see the top of your deck do all that fun stuff. But it's yeah, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, I think this is fine. Like, it's not very strong, but it's towards the end of role player. Like, it's not expected to be cards that are consistently meta defining, right?
Yeah. I'll just slide it big down. I do want to say, like, and specifically because we're talking about competitive standard, is to some extent Plutus is my favorite kind of Netrunner card, where it's not obviously the best thing you can be doing, but it is very powerful. It's very tricky. It's very interesting. It makes you do some interesting deck building. Like, might be my favorite card in the set, as much as it's like not doing anything.
Yeah, I think there was, and I've already forgotten, but there's like some runner cards that are like not particularly strong that are a lot of my favorites as well. Like just because a card is strong, though I will say like I think Alco has been such an interesting experience for me as a somewhat competitive player. But yeah, like just because a card is powerful doesn't make it interesting, and just because a card is weak doesn't make it uninteresting.
Yeah, but I'm saying this more so because I've heard criticism that NSG doesn't print weird cards. And like for a while, maybe that was not the case, but there is enough weird cards in this set that are like interesting enough to build a deck around that are not tier 1.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think this set's definitely doing a better job of that than some previous have.
It's poetry. It's it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think
I mean, it's hard because like HB's agenda suite, and I would generally say whole card pool is really bad right now. So it's like to me, poetry, I was like, I don't want to put it in the binder just yet, but like if in a release or two it's still nothing, then it's like, yeah, it should have been in the binder the whole time. It's a little bit hard for me to tell.
What was interesting is what you were talking about it 5 months ago. You said like you don't think the deck will be a poetry deck. It'll be like poetry as a utility piece in that deck, right? Which like, I don't think that makes it an interesting ID for me. I like my ID to be the centerpiece of my game plan, but it would be like, oh, this is a game plan that is on its own reasonable. And then poetry is just a bit of additional gas you have. Kind of like PD, like precision design isn't the game plan, but it is still a very good thing that you have attached to yourself. And like, if poetry falls into that camp, that makes a bit more sense to me if it's looked at like that, but it makes me less excited to play it.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely one of the like cards that I had the most like, this card was doing really well in playtest, and then it came out and it's like, oh, why was this doing well in playtest? Variety of reasons that didn't show up in the actual meta, basically. So yeah, it's especially, I will also like there was some changes that I definitely missed that made it even worse than I thought it was in playtest for sure. But yeah, it's not a solid card, which is a bummer. As someone who really likes tempo-y wide HB, it's just not quite there. So
cool. Empiricist. I guess we're going through every card one by one, but I think these cards are actually so interesting. It's probably worth doing.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't shown up a lot. It's Empiricist.
Yeah, it goes to slots are hard. I think like we were like, oh, it's probably good enough, and it just really it doesn't solve any. It doesn't fit any hole in Jinteki Ice, so it just doesn't really have a slot.
The code gates feel better. The cheaper sentries are more annoying on face check. It is taxing for sure. Like nobody's dealing with 5-strength sentries well. So like if you really swing into it,
that's fair.
Do you know? I want to play Empiricist and Bangoon. Like that's the sort of deck where I think it does something, right? Like it cares about tags and cards in hand. Like that might make more sense, but it is 3 influence, so I don't even know if that works.
Well, Empiricist doesn't give tags. Oh no, it does. I'm sorry.
It does. Yeah.
It has so much text. So much text on substance.
It's really funny because the text on it is functionally just snare, but like spelled out in a lot of different ways. Like it's just one big bite, but it costs 7. At least it's on the table for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, biotic labor. It's nano management.
Don't need to talk anything about it. Yeah. Boomy, I do think we probably actually should put up into. I guess maybe it's not enabler. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It is. Okay, hold on. It's messed up because if you don't have Boomy, you don't have LEO. Like you just don't have enough Bioroids to play LEO. Which like I do think LEO is an enabler, but Boomy is a very important role player in LEO. This card's just genuinely good. Besides like turn 1.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like it's actually is just a pretty solid card. Yeah.
We're gonna get ripped on for this top down solutions thing, but just wait a year.
It's fine.
Wait a year and a half.
Yeah. Just wait like 1, maybe 2 releases, and top down solutions is gonna be tearing everything up. So
yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, lastly, Shailendra. Huge success on this
I
one.
think this is fine. Yeah, I think
And
this is
mean,
fine.
like, if this card was good, I was gonna be upset because the text on
Okay.
it. So I'm it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What cleanup do we have to do? NPAW was good for a while.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it could almost move up to role player.
It could.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
text
fine.
on it's good. It's generally fine. I know I was saying why
Yeah.
not play Messna Chesvo, and the answer is this is a bit cheaper, and you sometimes play more than 3 Messna Chesvos. This was bigger in like the
Yeah.
score out NBN, like Nebula Fast Advance decks that were like fast
Mhm.
advancing and wanting to keep you out, not the ones that relied on like threat of Oppo and false lead and all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's that kind. I think of it as like that. The scoring as Mari style shells want probably both NPOT and Messna Chesvo, and that's kind of the
Yep.
home that it's seeing. So
Okay. Huge win for our team here, which is auto campaign. This card is dog water. It's such a powerful text on garbage.
Yeah.
This thing's awful. I'm so scared one day people are going to build some sort of glacier deck where like all you do is protect this auto campaign, but like fundamentally just run HQ. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it's just like, okay, yeah, my opponent is able to keep an auto campaign on the board and keep their HQ safe. Like, okay, well, they've won the game without having to resolve the auto then. Right.
Yeah.
So who cares?
It's like, I think every once in a while we need to just like stop, take a breath, and then remember that Nico campaign gives you 7 credits. That's an absurd number. 7 credits.
7 credits
it's
and
so
a card
much money.
draw. Like
7. That's goofy. Like imagine an econ card on the corpse side that gives you 7 credits for a click. Like,
yeah.
Anyways, I don't like this guy at all. I'm okay. I'll leave out of respect. I'll put it at the bottom.
Wait. You just moved humanoid resources.
Oh, I missed. Good catch.
You missed. Yeah.
Hey, speaking about missed.
Yeah. We did whiff on this one a little bit, didn't we? We whiffed on this one. Just a hair.
No, honestly, just a bit. Okay, so let's talk about this. Humanoid resources is seeing play. It's the closest thing we have to Rashida. It turns out that is still good, as much as maybe unhealthy. Like, do we have a humanoids fired versus win rate percentage chart and it's a line? Yeah, straight line. Maybe. But this was really ugly. This was genuinely very awkward to play for the first couple months before we're now on like LEO lists that are actually running 9 playable operations that can play off of this. Like they had to change fundamentally what their decks look like. And it's mostly them, as we said in March or May or whatever, spending influence. Like they are playing cards to go out of the way to make humanoid good, because humanoid is actually that good if you can make it make sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like one of them is like, oh, I have to put predictive planogram in. Like predictive planogram had to go into the LEO deck so
and
that you
petty
could
cash.
make the
Some people are playing
humanoid
Hansei. You
resources.
shout out Hansei. Like spending low influence on cards to make humanoid makes sense. Turns out it does make sense, which is cool. We're also seeing this sometimes in like, I know Wenjong was playing this in Isawak. I also want to say for the LEO deck, one way that we were off is that the LEO deck that's playing this, that Sokka and Rotom are playing, are on 7 agendas. And that was one of the big issues with humanoid as well. Is like you had too many agendas, so that you fired a humanoid, drew 2 agendas on average, and that was also an issue for you if you didn't have any smart way to deal with it. Which when your turn is 2 installs, like you sometimes couldn't fix it. Card's good though. Card's generally good.
That's fair. Yeah. Does it go into role player, we think, or does it go to the top slots? Probably role player, right? To be
I honestly would consider it a faction staple.
Okay, I think that's an okay place to because it's like it's seen more play than Green Mail, but less than Samok.
Yeah,
I
and
think
like it is a
fine.
card that will have a very bright future. And we've been saying cards, we've been judging cards on future value, which is kind of funny, but there is some truth to that. This card will continue, if not become better.
Yeah, that's fair. Lamplighter probably can go to the top if slots are hard. I think it's like it did see some play. I'm not convinced it was good.
I like this card a lot, but it's in like 1 or 2 decks. I think this card should see play in Epiphany. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not
card's
sure.
Good. Card's really good. For context, you generally don't put on centrals. You just put in front of your assets and they pay 3 credits. That's a good enough trade for you. You spend 2, they generally spend 6. Nobody breaks it really well until the late game, so that's great.
Yeah.
Cool. NBN tag cards. They are actually seeing unironic play, and I think the order on these are backwards. I respect.
Oh,
well, okay, so this is
no.
Yeah.
No, that can't be true.
Oh yeah.
Am I that out of touch? I must be.
It's just been the showdown, man. We got 1 data point, but boy, does that data point enjoy bigger picture and IP enforcement as one ofs. I don't know exactly how they're playing IP enforcement. I think they're waiting for time to be called, which like, ooh, that's annoying. But bigger picture, seeing play as like a cromulent single tag punishment card, and it is kind of backbreaking when there's that credit swing. The second tag is really important because all your tag punishment that you have to play around cares about double tag. But there's a lot of decks that are playing this as a one of, or some successful decks are playing this as a one of. So like, I feel really bad because I don't know the name, but Warlock played someone else's deck, card for card. They said that they stole this deck, not as in they stole, but they just like played the deck card for card. They did really well. Minstrel was playing a 54 card Epiphany deck, and that deck was like the deck to talk about at the tournament. It had like a 70% win rate. I think a lot of people don't know what to do against Epiphany because it is something you don't have a lot of experience in. People are not teched for assets in the new meta, it seems. So the deck overperformed is my guess, comparing to what World should look like, but it did really well. And this card was part of the packages that they were playing.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if you want to swap them, that's totally fine.
I think also they come up a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're better than all these 3/2s. Yeah, if they're seeing play. I also think like Castle Road was a bit of a miss from us. This card I feel like was seeing a lot of play. Some of that is obviously like 2 cost was really good with Ob this meta. Well, I think like fundamentally this card was actually pretty solid. And like we'll continue to see play even if Ob is not the way to be.
In future tier lists, if you're watching this and then you're watching a new tier list because the next set dropped, and you're a Metropole Grid YsengrinSC enjoyer, and you hear an argument that you're thinking in 4 to 5 months we're gonna have to have an emotional apology about. Kessleroid, for me, like Knickknack for you, was my emotional apology of a card. Because this one annoys the hell out of me. Like trying to be excited about this, I'm never gonna do it. Ice Wall was better. This technically has text against ice destruction, and like it is a real annoyance for crew decks that want to rely on that sort of thing. But it's definitely good to find. It is the cheapest end to run in the format. So enjoy that.
Yeah. No, it's
fine.
It does a lot. You really wish it was Ice Wall. I'm pretty happy with it as is, honestly. We keep getting excited about 2 costs on the run ice, and this is a pretty solid 2 cost on the run ice.
Just give it magnets text. Make it so you can't install anything on it. Like give it an aura. Make it cool. It's not cool, and it should be cool. Anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a little thematically lighter than it feels like it could be.
Yeah. Give me border control. All right. We got Synapse. It doesn't do anything in the modern meta.
Yeah. The only thing we could probably move Bandgun
100%
a bit. I have played some games against Bandgun. I don't think but like that's everything else in the binder bin looks fine to me.
Bangun is like not the worst thing you can do. I do want to go on record again to say like I don't like that a bunch of the modern Wayland beat damage decks are more grinder than they are tempo. I feel like that mark was maybe missed, and I think my Bangun decks have been grinder more than they have been like, oh cool, Argus, which I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's definitely the best of these by a mile.
For sure.
By a mile, considerably.
Okay. Yeah. So looking back, we didn't do great on the corpse side. I'm not like shocked because of how big of a change it is. Of like the corp rotation was like, it's not so shocking. Like that we overvalued 3/2s. Like, yep, it's a very 2014, 2015 perspective on Netrunner.
Yeah, but like it's surprising coming from 2024. But I do think like, Nebula Fast Advance was like the really scary thing. Like Zwicky Fast Advance was a real thing in our eyes. We thought like Poetry would do something because of like playtesting or whatever, right? Like I think with that in mind, again, the 3/2s shift down a fair bit. I think Measured Response was the one that I'm the most, I wouldn't say upset, but like interested about. Because it is like that simple to add a win condition to everybody that wants to play it.
But it also, I don't know. I think it has felt like it's had a reasonable amount of both counterplay and signaling that it's coming.
Yeah. The cheese kills it's not punitive, right? Like we're very happy it's not punitive.
Yeah, very happy it's not punitive.
Oh, it was a really interesting year, right? Like every ban list has been like, I don't think contentious is the word, but like it's looked like it would accomplish it. Some of them didn't look like they had accomplished the goals that you'd hope, but they'd still accomplished their goals, right? Like we've been in a kind of a cool spot.
Yeah. So I think like the 25-8 ban list, I think was quite good. Like, even though it wasn't like it really did solve some major problems. I'm not the biggest fan of the 2510 ban list, and like I kept saying I would make a video about it on my other like weird pop-ups in places, and I think I didn't, in part because it feels bad to be like, oh yeah, this is a ban list that the ban list team made for my event, and I'm going to go and trash their work for it. So maybe post Worlds, I'll try and release a video, a gentle criticism video, because it was a very, very hard ban list to make. Sure. I just think it missed the mark in a couple of ways.
I think Worlds is going to be good though, like regardless.
Yeah,
like the Worlds meta is exciting.
The Worlds meta will be exciting, and like genuinely, I'm like at this point, like it's going to be a really fun event. Like we're doing some new stuff this year, and like the energy of having 400 plus people in the building playing Netrunner, I think is going to be just wild for everyone involved. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. And it's only about a week away, which is honestly, I feel underprepared. I don't know, man. I'm like stressed about it, and I'm not even an organizer. Like, I don't know how y'all doing.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I will give Nick Odonovo a million shout outs, has been so on top of like, just the like, hey, has someone ordered X by this date so that we're on schedule? And like that has made things move so much smoother this year than the years that I have been nominally in charge of. So huge shout outs to Odonovo for that. Or Nuvo. And
Odonovo, yeah.
And yeah, I'm very excited, and I hope everyone else who is able to attend or watch the streams. The stream's gonna, I think, hopefully be kick-ass this year, and yeah.
Heck yeah, cool. Well, hey,
thanks for having me on to talk about this tier list again. I think it was really interesting to see where we hit, where we missed, and like, you know, it's funny how different the meta I think looked this last 5 months than we predicted based on our ban list. But our tier list almost survived.
It's recognizable
despite how different that looked. Yeah,
it's definitely recognizable. But things were really different back then they were now. So like a lot of this is ban lists and stuff. So I feel good. I feel really good about it. Jeff, you want to plug your channel real quick?
Yeah. You can, my channel, you can check it out. It's YsengrinSC. There'll be a link to your list below. There'll hopefully be a video out maybe before Worlds if I get really lucky, with me and Sam talking about some Netrunner history. And there was a recent video I did with Ben Safer from Dev, talking about some like Netrunner theory, which I thought was like a really interesting one, and it's something I might try and do some more of in the future, because that's a little more agreeable with my speed of life at the moment. So
very cool. Yeah, all that stuff will be linked in the description, so please check that out. If you want to make your own tier list, again, the links for these are below. If you want to share them, whether they're standard, startup, core, all that sort of stuff, we'd be very excited to see. And if you want to challenge our perfectly correct takes, we'd love to hear it in the comments. And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you at Worlds, if not during the stream. And otherwise, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for watching. These are always the most fun. This one is the longest that we waited between the release of our tier list and then getting to talk about it again. Just a couple days before Worlds is maybe the funniest time to do it, but it was an absolute roller coaster of an organized play, like 5 months. With the ban lists and the new like structured season of districts and mega cities and all that sort of stuff, it's been just a really interesting year with rotation and everything else alongside it. Huge shout out to YsengrinSC, to Jeff for joining me on this. Always a lot of fun. And Jeff just does so much for Netrunner, either in front of the scenes, but a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So if you ever see the guy in person, if you're at Worlds, give him a thank you. I think he definitely deserves it. Speaking of a thank you, I want to give a thank you to all these names here and more that support the Métropole Grid. We also have all our daily cast patrons that allow me to put in the time, the money to all the regular live streaming, the video content, the motion graphics. All this sort of stuff takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money too. And it simply wouldn't be possible without all these names here and more. If you want to support the Métropole Grid, you can find a link to the Patreon just below, or otherwise, if you just want to take a second to leave a like on the video, I promise you that helps a heck of a lot. And with that, Worlds are just in a couple days. Stay tuned to Null Signal Games' YouTube channel. I'll have that linked in the description if you want to watch the live streams. It should be from Friday to Sunday. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday on a microphone. I'm playing at COS on Friday, so wish me luck. With that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.